Hello, Mustang basketball fans, and welcome to another edition of Mustang Basketball with Brad Bigler. I'm your host, Kelly Loft, Athletic Communications Director at Southwest Minnesota State University. Thanks for joining us again this week here at Studio One and at smsumustangs.com. As we talk Mustang men's basketball with the head coach, Brad Bigler. We'll take a look at this past weekend's games versus Winona State and Upper Iowa. Mustangs have off for a couple of weeks game-wise before returning to action on January 2nd and 3rd. We'll talk about those games as well as we look ahead to the new year and continuing this exciting season of Mustang men's basketball. And with us, as always, is the head coach, Brad Bigler. Mustangs coming off, as I mentioned, a split this past weekend against Winona State, number 16 team in the country, when the Mustangs lose 79-72, but bounce back with a 73-67 victory over Upper Iowa on Saturday to close out this 2011 season. Coach, and you're 5-5 overall, 4-2 more importantly in the conference. You've had a very difficult schedule so far, as you predicted. You knew the 10 games are going to be very tough, and kind of let's go over your thoughts here in the first 10 games of this 25-game regular season schedule.
Well, in a lot of ways, I think we're probably right where we probably should be. Maybe get a game or two if the ball bounces our way, but knowing that when you go into an environment where you're going to play a couple Division I schools, those games are going to be pretty tough. Playing Augustana on the road, playing Michigan Tech at a neutral site. I mean, those are tough games. And then Winona at home is a game where we had an opportunity to win, but they made the plays at the end of the game to win. Yeah,
you mentioned Mustangs 5-5 and playing a couple of Division I's, and those teams having a very good season at the Division I. South Dakota State just beat University of Washington. Milwaukee played Wisconsin very tough and has gotten some other big-time wins as well. So it's been a very tough non-conference schedule, which will get you ready for the conference season, and as you've noticed that. And again, the Winona State game, Mustangs lose 79-72, and as Coach mentioned, several chances for the Mustangs to possibly win that game, but got to give credit to the Warriors, Coach. They made some plays down the stretch, and let's talk about that game on Friday night. You led by 4 at halftime and shot extremely well in the first half, had a rebounding edge, but that second half, some of those loose balls and just some little things that make a difference in a game really stood out, and that's why the Warriors were able to hang on.
And at the end, those couple offensive rebounds that they got, long three-point shots, long rebounds, bounced over our head, and they chased those long rebounds down and were able to make the play to really capture the momentum.
And then, of course, the Mustangs bounced back and beat Upper Iowa. Another very tight ball game, and it's going to be like that way every time in the conference. This 2011-12 season, Mustangs do win 73-67 against Winona State. Mustangs led by Jordan Miller. He had 16 points for Southwest, 4 of 10 shooting, just 1 of 6 from three-point range, but was a perfect 7 of 7 from the free throw line. Coming off the bench, Tremel Barnes had 10 points, and Matt Zager had 12 for SMSU as well. But as you mentioned, it was just some of those rebounds late in the game there that you had some chances. And what are some of the things that you go over? You talk about the rebounding and whatnot, and I know you watched film on Friday night, and heading into that game on Saturday, what were some of the things you touched on with the guys? Do you just forget about the Winona State game, or do you show where your mistakes and try to get better later that night against Upper Iowa?
Well, we definitely addressed a few concerns. Rebounding is obviously one of them. We addressed some of our body language, as a matter of fact. We could have handled adversity a little bit better. At times, we kind of showed our youth where I think we needed to handle that better, and we did that on Saturday night versus Upper Iowa, and I thought that played a big factor in us keeping our composure. But I think at the end of the day, Northern Sun basketball it's going to be a grind. It's going to be a long season. Unfortunately, you're not going to win every game. You have to find a way to bounce back from a Friday to a Saturday. And I thought for the most part, as far as keeping our composure and finding a way to grind one out on Saturday, I thought our guys did a good job.
Well, we talked about last show the great weekend that Bernard Birch had against St. Cloud and Concordia St. Paul, and didn't play poorly this past weekend, but a little bit different in showing you that still as an underclassman, it's going to be a tough grind every day, and I think teams are going to obviously knowing Bernard's playing at a high level this year, and it's things that he's going to have to adjust to as well, because I'm sure teams in their game plan now are really a game planning against Bernard along with Jordan Miller.
Well, when you watch on film, you saw a lot of teams when he was coming off that ball screen. The reason Matt Zager maybe had a great weekend this weekend is because teams were defending us a little bit differently. They were showing on that screen. They were helping a little more aggressive, which left Matt open, and that's where Matt, when those opportunities come, he took advantage of them.
Yeah, you're right. The weekend prior, Matt was held in check, somewhat under double-digit scoring, but on Friday night had 12 points on 5 of 7 shooting, had 11 on Saturday, 5 of 11 against the Upper Iowa Peacocks. Now, again, on Saturday, Upper Iowa coming off a very tight loss to Minnesota State on Friday night. They got beat on a last second three-pointer, and you knew they'd bring some challenges to the court. And again, rebounding-wise, not great numbers for Southwest, but both teams shot it very well, so there aren't going to be that many rebounds. But you fought through it, down by 3 at halftime, and got a double-digit lead, and then held on late in the game.
Again, making free throws at the end of games. That's been a positive note for our team this year. We talked about it versus Michigan Tech, or Minot that weekend, and it's continued to be a good thing for us. I thought guys stepped up and knocked down free throws when they needed to. As far as the rebounding is concerned, you're right. Both teams are shooting at a pretty high percentages. As a matter of fact, for Southwest basketball, I think right now we're shooting almost 49% in the conference play, which, to kind of give you a comparison, our Elite 8 team in 08-09 shot 43%. So we're just winning ball games in different ways, and right now the numbers are probably a little bit different than Mustangs are used to in the past, but we got to find a way to continue to improve on our defensive field goal percentage.
Well, a game against Upper Iowa, Jordan Miller, a season-high 23 points for the Mustangs, 7 of 12 from the field, 3 3-pointers. Nice night for Tramel Barnes again, double figures, 14 points, 4 assists, just 1 turnover, 4 or 5 from the field, and he continues to play at a high level for your squad, and both he and Bernard in the same time playing has been a great combination for your squad as well. And just talk about the process and how difficult that can be for a player coming in as a transfer, but did have a full year of practice, and I'm sure that's been invaluable for Tramel as he made the transition from Northern State.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that redshirt year allowed him to get his scoring a little bit more confident. I mean, having a little bit more confidence in his scoring. And it allowed him to, in practice at times, he had to be in a scout situation, be that scorer, be that guy. So he's taking shots, and you see it on the floor this year. He's a lot more confident on the offensive end, and he's being aggressive.
And, of course, the Mustang defense forcing 16 turnovers in the ball game. They had a season-high 12 steals and a season-low 7 turnovers, and the Mustangs, and those are great numbers. You look at the turnovers, points off turnovers, Southwest a 23-7 advantage, and those are big-time numbers, probably some of the numbers that can really tell the difference in a ball game. And right there, you didn't shoot, didn't rebound that particularly well. Upper Iowa shot very well, 54% in the game, but again, 16 turnovers, and you took advantage of those turnovers and got some points.
And we've talked about that in the past, where anytime you can get a steal and get a bucket in transition, I mean, that's a momentum play. That's a play that really puts a team on their heels. And I thought at times in that second half, that's what we were doing. We were scrambling, forcing Upper Iowa out of their system a little bit, and we're able to make a few plays.
We look at the difference in the two games, Coach. On Friday night, your bench scoring, Tramel Barnes, Michael Apple, Lavion West, Casey Susanguth, all off the bench, had at least 2 field goals or more. On Friday night, off the bench, those guys just had 2 baskets total, but you still got the win. And just tells you that there are lots of different pieces and parts that can help win this for this team this season.
Yeah, and right now the combination of both Casey and Michael Apple are playing behind Nick Smith, and at times they both bring a little bit something different. And right now that's something that we'll work out with the rotations. I think both of them handled it very well. Lavion West, coming off the bench, always provides a great spark. He's an energy guy. He's a guy who can do a lot of different things.
Well, the Mustangs now 5-5 overall and 4-2 in the NSIC, and have a couple of weeks off here as we look ahead toward the new year, 2012. Again, the Mustangs will have off, and let's talk about that, Coach. We'll take a look at the highlights shortly, but the NCAA has rules that you cannot practice or do anything with your squad from December 20th to the 26th. Now, when you play a couple of days before that, it really makes it a longer break. You did stay with the guys for a couple of days after this past weekend to get some shots up and stay loose, and then you get back on the December 27th. But just talk about that and what they do during break and how you'll get them ready to go once they come back after Christmas.
Start with the 2 practices right after that last game. I think that's something where that's something we've never done before, and I thought our guys handled it the right way. on Sunday night, we actually rewarded them by going to Pizza Ranch, so they got a nice little meal in, and we took care of them. But you're right, though. The NCAA's rules have changed. From December 20th through the 26th, we can have no contact with them. It allows them a couple extra days to spend time with their family, which I don't think is a bad thing. I do believe that they have to be careful, though. 7 days is a long time. So hopefully they get in the gym and they're doing a little bit of stuff just to stay or maintain a little bit of that conditioning. When we get back on the 27th, we have about a week to get ready for our first road game or the next road game, and we have to use that time wisely.
Yeah, the Mustangs will be off until January 2nd, on Monday, when they'll play at Minnesota Crookston and then at league-leading Minnesota State Moorhead on Tuesday, January 3rd. The Dragons are undefeated so far this season and just beat Augustana on the road the other night. So that'll be a couple of weeks for the Mustangs before they return to action against Minnesota Crookston and Minnesota State Moorhead. Well, let's take a look at the highlights from this past weekend's games versus Winona State and against Upper Iowa. The Warriors have beaten the Mustangs 17 of 18 coming into this game, Coach, and they've been a very good program. And we'll start off here with the highlights here in this first half. And Nick Smith with a basket, and then Jordan Miller had a solid game for SMSU with a couple of baskets.
And right here you just see Nick with the patience and Jordan with a nice cut and finish.
Got the and one. Jordan made the free throw. Here's a three-pointer for Miller coming off the screen and hits a tough shot. And then Lavion West, Coach, really had a solid first half. Finished the game 3 of 5 shooting.
And here you see Bernard Birch getting in the lane, drawing all the defenders, and Lavion West stepping up and knocking down the three.
West 3 of 5, 7 points, 2 rebounds. Goes up strong and gets it to roll in. Then Michael Apple doing what he has to do off the bench. Hits a couple of threes, made that extra pass, got open, and you'll see him here at the bottom of the screen.
And that's the one thing that he brings to the table. He's a perimeter shooter. He's a guy that really stretches the defense and opens some driving lanes for the other players.
In transition, William Giddings couldn't get the basket to go, but does draw a foul. Giddings with 6 points and 4 rebounds in 20 minutes. Miller with a hoop. Then we come back with Lavion West and Nick Smith. Kind of a forced shot by Jordan, but the Lavion clears up the rebound and scores. And let's talk about here, Coach, Nick Smith with a couple of nice plays.
And, first of all, we'll start off with Casey Suzagoff with the finish. Then you see Nick Smith just keeping the ball alive right there, kicks it out. See Nick Smith just they leave him wide open, and he finishes with the dunk.
Nice play by Nick. And then Matt Zager, Mustangs 5 of 12 from three-point range, and that's Zager's only three-point attempt of the game. He drills it.
And that's another example of Matt's man leaving him to help out with Bernard, and Matt knocks down the three-point shot.
Mustangs shot 48% in the opening half. Big dunk by William Giddings, and then Mike Apple closes it out the half. Mustangs led by 4 at halftime, 37-33, and Michael doesn't take a lot of shots inside the arc, but that time he gets it to go down. Apple's 2 for 2 shooting. Let's go over to the second half. Good start by the Warriors, got them the lead, but the Mustangs fought back in just a battle here in the second half. That was Giddings with a hoop, and then Tramel Barnes with an and one.
And I thought both teams were playing at a pretty high level in that second half. It was a good game, and a lot of players for both teams stepped up and made big plays.
Zager coming off all the way around the court, driving down the lane and scoring. Nick Smith nearly getting the dunk, but it was fouled. And then Jordan Miller drawing a foul as well.
And that's where we need to continue to put pressure on Clayton Vetty on the defensive end. He's such a great scorer and a great player, and now we need to make him work on both ends of the floor a little bit more.
Here's a steal for Tramel Barnes. He'll go up and lay it in on the fast break. Again, Barnes with 10 points, 6 of 7 from the free throw line. And a great pass. Miller finding Zager underneath. Jared with 4 assists, a team high in the game. Trent Carlson gets in the act with a long-range 3. And then Zager a couple of more. And this is what you see. You kind of expect this out of Matt Zager, Coach, getting those double-figure scoring, and that's what he did this weekend.
Yeah, and he's a guy that's going to be able to do that on a nightly basis. he just scores in a variety of ways, whether it's knocking down threes, as you saw, driving and finish, or even getting steals in transition and going up in transition and finishing.
That was a tough call there, Nick Smith getting called for the fifth, and we didn't get a second look at it, but tough there. He fouled out. There's Bernard Birch with the basket there to get the Mustangs within 2 points, and but unfortunately on the next possession for the Warriors, they missed a three-pointer, which was good news, but Mustangs were not able to corral the rebound. John Wahlberg got the rebound for the Warriors and then scored and was fouled, and they go up by 5, and that was pretty much the end of the ball game. And we didn't get a great look at that, but that fifth foul on Nick Smith, tough play there. And that's the tough thing about basketball at times. You watch that play over and over again, and Nick's just keeping his arms straight up, and the offensive player, and it happens at both ends of the floor for SMSU and offensively and defensively, but. Not much you can do is when you stand straight up and the guy kind of puts his shoulder into you and he gets a foul.
And at that point in the game, you would hope that they would let the players play a little bit. That was a big call, taking Nick out of the game with a couple minutes left. Really was it played probably a bigger factor than what we would like to admit. But having him out of the game, it just hurts us both on the offensive end and the defensive end, especially when Clayton Vetti's in the ball game.
We talked about the turnovers in the first game, or the game against Upper Iowa. Tough numbers for Southwest against Winona. A very good team, obviously, but SMSU had 16 turnovers. Winona had 15. And as you mentioned, a very entertaining game. It's a great action up and down the floor, but it just shows you how both teams could still turn the ball over, but it could still be an enjoyable game to watch, and that's what it was.
Yeah, and it came down to the wire. I mean, both teams were playing pretty hard. Both teams were doing their best to defend, but I thought both teams offensively were pretty efficient all night. We had a tough time defending Clayton Vetti, whether it was in the post or on the perimeter. When you look at his 22 points, he had 8 points from the perimeter. He knocked down 2 threes and a 17-footer. So he had an outstanding game. When we did go to double him in the post, he found a lot of cutters, and they got a lot of easy action on the rim. So Winona's a very talented team, and we'll look forward to playing them again. Yeah,
that's right. So the Warriors beat the Mustangs on Friday, but SMSU then continuing the homestand, wrapping up the 4-game homestand, taking on the Peacocks from Upper Iowa. Mustangs get the win 73-67. Upper Iowa does shoot 55% in the game, but SMSU shoots 51%, including 61 in the second half, 11 of 18 from three-point or from the field, and the good number, I think, Coach, just 1 of 3 from three-point range. You didn't need to rally back, just drilling threes. You got to the free throw line and made some big free throws.
Yeah, I got to the foul line by a lot of times just getting action to the rim, making them defend a lot of ball screen actions, and I thought our guys were very aggressive and not trying to do too much. I thought they were, like I said, just getting action to the rim, making Upper Iowa defend the paint, defend some ball screens, and unfortunately we got the foul line.
And you mentioned Upper Iowa, always a tough team to defend against. They do a lot of back cuts and whatnot, and again, they get some high-quality shots, and they were a good squad. They didn't shoot many three-pointers as well, just 12, but they made 6 of them. They had a 4-point lead. You get back into it, and had a big stretch there in the second half where you go up 10, and give Upper Iowa credit. They didn't quit and got it down to a 2-point game, but as you guys made some stops that you need to and got to the free throw line. And kind of talk about that when you're leading late in the game and you need a basket or whatnot. You take some time off. Just you want to get some action to the rim, at least get to the free throw line. And is that kind of the goal for each time down?
Well, I think the biggest thing is being efficient with your possession. Take some time off the clock, but don't do it in a matter where all of a sudden late in the shot clock you're taking a bad shot. I think you want to make sure you get a good high quality shot, and I think it starts off with the point guard play. I mean, I think understanding the tempo of the game, making sure that if we have something in transition, if we have something easy, take it. But if not, pull it out and make sure that we're getting a high percentage shot.
Well, the Mustangs did take plenty of high percentage shots during the final minutes of the game versus Upper Iowa. We'll take a look at the highlights from the past Saturday's game against Upper Iowa. Again, Mustangs trailed 35-32 at halftime. We start off with the first half highlights. Mustangs in the gold uniforms. Nick Smith, 6 points, 2 of 3. Got a hoop there. And then Jordan Miller with 2 of his game-high 23 points. We mentioned Tremel Barnes, a nice game off the bench, 14 points, and they're driving to the basket with a hoop. And Jordan Miller with a 3, and then a 2-point field goal.
And it was it was good to see Jordan Miller play with some confidence, got some good action to the rim like that right there, got to the foul line and scored at all three different levels.
And Trammell showing his outside shooting ability as well, hitting his only 3 of the game. Matt Zager with a long 2. And then Zager again from the right side. Again driving in. Zager with 11 points.
And I thought that play right here was a broken play. And this is another play in transition. I thought we were great in transition all night. You saw the 20-some points off turnovers. But even off long rebounds and that type of stuff, we got action to the rim and really made them defend early in possessions.
There's Lavion West with a tough hit with the right hand. His only 2 points on the evening. And Jordan Miller again, Mustangs 3 of 5 was Miller shooting from long range, connecting on that. Here's Trammell Barnes and Bernard Birch closing out the half.
And this play broke down, but Bernard just has the ability to make a play when you need to, and that was a good shot by Bernard.
Showing that ability again this year to hit it from 15 feet. William Giddings, 3 of 6 shooting in this game, 9 points. Starts off the second half. Mustangs, again, trailed by 3, but came out of the gate right away, got the lead. And then it was kind of back and forth for the next 5 to 6 minutes or so until that 5-minute mark where the Mustangs went up by 10. Mustangs here continuing to go on. Nick Smith with the move, and then Trent Carlson with a basket, and then a nice job by the Mustangs in the defensive end. Off the inbounds, Carlson with the layup, and here's the defense. And
that's where Will Giddings, you're going to see Will Giddings and Matt Zager making plays on the defensive end, allowing us to get out in transition and get some easy baskets.
And Matt Zager, another steal. He had 4 in the game and puts down this dunk from 2 hands. And then Trammell Barnes getting fouled. Nearly completing that one, but again got to the line, and he was 5 of 6 from the charity stripe. And then Miller with a big 3 here on the near side. Square to the basket, drills it. And then another steal for Matt Zager and company.
And again, this is where Will Giddings gets a tip on the ball. They're a little out of the rhythm, and Matt just is able to jump the passing lane and make a play.
Lays it in beautifully. And then Jordan Miller with a steal and foul for the SMSU. Miller at the free throw line, right place, right time.
And that's a good job of attacking the rim in transition.
That's where the Mustangs got their run going and go up by 10, and this is an impressive dunk by Giddings.
We're going to get a second look at this. He, as he catches the basketball, I mean, this is more athletic than people understand, where to be able to catch it, go straight up like that, and finish over a guy.
Got the crowd going. You'll see it again. Just goes up. Very easy play for us athletes. And Zager then driving baseline. Good take. And then we'll close it off here again with Giddings with another basket off a great pass from Miller. Reverse, up and under. Mustangs up by 10. And Bernard Birch had 6 points, 5 assists, closing it out. And here's the last. Mustangs up by 4, coach, and they couldn't get a 3-point shot off, and by the time they got it up, it was far too late. Mustangs got the rebound and secure the victory, and a couple of free throws by Nick Smith closes that out, and the Mustangs win 73-67. And I think, Coach, that was an impressive part at the end. You're up by 4, and it was under 15 seconds or so, but they hit a 3-pointer or get any kind of basket, still a 1-possession game, and they just couldn't get a shot off, which just shows, playing great defense all the way down to the end.
Yeah, and I thought not only that, but again, going back to that free throw thing on the offensive end, we got action to the rim, made them defend some actions, and fortunately for us, we were able to knock down those free throws. Bernard Birch had 2 big free throws to put it to 4, and we were able to close out the ball game.
Yeah, just a couple of misses there for the Mustangs. Matt Zager missed a couple late, but normally a very good free throw shooter, and everybody else stepped up. Mustangs 18 of 22 from the foul line in the game, and shooting very high this percentage this season. Knock on wood. We hope it continues after the Christmas break, but doing very well, getting to the free throw line, and guys are working at that. And that's, I'm sure, something that you guys work on all the time at practice. And is that something that you do just drills, or are they do that on their own, or do you put them in pressure situations, throughout the practice at certain times?
I think it's a combination of everything. We do put them in pressure situations in practice. A lot of times that deals with running too, or getting out of running. But no, I think it also goes back to them taking their time and working on their own skills, on their own free time. If you got about an hour in between classes, going to the gym, get some free throws up, and making sure that you're confident when you step to the foul line.
Yeah, those are definitely huge plays. The Mustangs playing very well right now as we head into Christmas break. 5-5 overall and 4-2 in the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference. And again, the Mustangs will be off here for a couple of weeks before returning to action on January 2nd against Minnesota Crookston, and then at Minnesota State Moorhead on January 3rd. And the Mustangs will return home for the first Saturday in January as they take on Minnesota State Mankato at the RA facility, and then school will start up again, and we'll get right into the heart of this conference schedule. It should be an exciting second half of the season as the Mustangs continue to push to the top half of the NSIC standings and make that conference tournament. Should be an exciting season here coming up for the remainder of the season here in 2012 for SMSU. And again, the Mustangs off here for about a week or so as the kids go off and visit their family and friends. And Coach, I hope you have a great Christmas break as well. And it's not really that quiet time for you. Not only do you have the holidays, but you and your staff are busy recruiting still throughout this time.
Yeah, we were out last night, and we're going to go out again tonight. And when those holidays come around, the one thing that's nice about Minnesota basketball, there's a lot of holiday tournaments. So you'll see the Mustang coaches at probably a variety of different tournaments throughout the whole state of Minnesota. Yeah,
it should be exciting to watch and see what happens here the next few weeks, and look forward to seeing the Mustangs return after the holiday break. Well, Coach, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Have a Happy New Year. And everybody at home, thank you for watching Mustang basketball with Brad Bigler throughout this season. I want to thank Jess here at Studio One for all his hard work getting this on. And we'll be off for a couple of weeks because of the holiday break. Again, early January, we'll be up in Moorhead, so probably have a show here about the second week of January. We'll be back on, but we'll continue to watch it here through the holiday season, and we'll be back talking more Mustang basketball with the head coach, Brad Bigler, as we take a look at highlights and previews and get the inside scoop on Mustang men's basketball. From everyone at Southwest Minnesota State men's basketball here in Studio One, have a great holiday season, and we'll see you following the new year. Go Mustangs!